If you're a business owner today, the whole question of outsourcing used to be pretty simple, right? It was all about how much can I save? But as we're looking ahead to 2026, there's a much bigger, more important question bubbling up. Are you just trying to buy some help, or are you actually trying to buy back your freedom? So let's dive into what that actually means. And wow, this quote from our source material just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It's a really powerful way to think about it. The goal isn't just to get someone to answer your emails. It's to find someone who can completely redesign how you work, so you're not physically chained to a computer anymore. Those desktop shackles, that's exactly what we're here to talk about breaking. For the longest time, the whole game with outsourcing was about finding the lowest possible hourly rate. But for today's small and medium-sized business owner, especially one who works globally, that way of thinking is really starting to fall apart. The conversation has totally shifted from just cutting costs to something way, way more valuable. So, this really is the question, isn't it? What are you really after? Is the end game just to shave a few bucks off your monthly expenses? Or is it to build a business that you can run from literally anywhere in the world, giving you genuine mobility and, real control over your life? Okay, so let's dig into the old way of doing things, what our source calls the legacy freelance trap. This is the road most people go down, but it's often a shortcut that leads you right into a dead end. And this right here is a key idea: legacy friction. You know what I'm talking about, right? That one piece of software that only works on your main desktop, the spreadsheet with that specific plugin, or the client website that just does not work on your phone. That's the friction. And that's what keeps you glued to your desk even when you've supposedly hired someone to help you. Man, this is such a great way to put it. That low hourly rate, that's the honeypot. It looks so sweet from the outside. You see that instant cost saving and think jackpot. But what you don't see is the sticky mess you're getting into, all the friction, all the management headaches, and the fact that you're still the one who has to be sitting at the controls. And this is where it gets really interesting, when you put the two philosophies side by side. On the one hand, you have your traditional freelancer, attracted by the honeypot of a low cost. On the other, what the source calls a managed agency, a team that's focused on freedom. The freelancer is often trained on the same old legacy systems that are holding you back, so they're basically just managing your desk-bound prison for you. But the managed agency? They're positioned as architects. They're to build new, mobile-first systems that actually set you free. All right, so if the old way is a trap, what's the escape route? Well, this brings us to a really powerful new system. Our source calls it the follow the sun model, and it's designed for the 24/7 world we live in. But first, let's talk about the problem it's built to solve: the time zone gap. I mean, we've all been there, right? It's that awful feeling at 6 p.m. when a huge project just stops. Everything grinds to a halt. Hot leads go cold, all because your part of the world went to bed. Okay, so this is how it actually works, and it's pretty brilliant. At the end of your day, you don't shut down. You hand off. You lay out the strategy, and then a team on the other side of the world picks it right up and starts running with it. So what happens? You wake up, grab your coffee, and boom, your business has been working for you all night. That campaign is already live, your to-do list is done. It flips the time zone gap from being a problem into a massive strategic advantage. Now, this whole model sounds amazing, but it absolutely depends on having the right tech in place. It's not just about having people in different time zones, it's about building a business that doesn't need an office or a specific computer. And that brings us to what our source calls the death of the desktop. I mean, this is a pretty bold statement, but it's at the very core of this whole argument. We're not talking about fancy offices or complicated desktop software anymore. The real competitive advantage in the next few years is going to come from your ability to run your entire business from the supercomputer that's already in your pocket. And when you make that shift, look at what happens. The benefits line up perfectly to solve all those problems we were just talking about. You finally ditch that legacy friction from those clunky desktop apps. You can talk to clients directly, instantly from anywhere. You get true operational agility. And that last point, I mean, come on, command your global empire from a coffee shop. That's the dream, right? That is real freedom. But here's the thing. To make all this tech work, the people you hire have to change too. We're not talking about basic administrative assistants anymore. The source talks about automation pilots. We're talking about specialists who aren't just checking boxes. They're the architects building the AI-powered systems that make your mobile business run with absolute precision and security. All right, let's tie this all together. It brings us right back to that first question. But now we're looking at it in a whole new light. The choice isn't just about the cheapest option anymore. It's a huge strategic calculation about what you really truly value. And if you remember one thing from this, let it be this. It's so simple, but so powerful. That cheap hourly rate, it ends up costing you a fortune in stolen time. All those hours you lose managing clunky systems, being chained to your desk, and fighting against that legacy friction. This table really just lays it all out, crystal clear. You've got two paths. The freelancer path, where the main focus is lower cost. But what's the trade-off? It keeps you at your desk, and the result is friction. Then you have the managed agency path. The focus there is operational freedom. It literally puts your business in your pocket, and what you get is a business that can actually scale. And I love this quote. It's the perfect way to think about this whole shift in mindset. Stop thinking about overhead and desks. Start thinking about impact and freedom. It's about putting your money and energy into what makes you effective, not what keeps you tied down. So that's what we'll leave you with. A question to really think about. When you step back and look at your business, at your life, what price tag could you possibly put on the ability to run it from anywhere, to have it grow while you sleep, to finally break those desktop shackles for good? So what is that kind of freedom actually worth to you?